Okay, let's roll. Roll. For those of you that are new, I follow a very similar system that Mark went over in our sales formula. And I'm going to show you how to put some of those things that Mark Frasco talked about and how to implement them into our world. Or the same process with all different types of products. So even if you don't lead with, let's say, point of sale or a target restaurant, I've used the same business model, not only for credit cards and POS, I used it when I was selling sales training. So, it always starts off, we all know about prospecting, then the presentation. Let's just break it up into these three areas. Prospecting. I will say this, that 90% of your mental energy should always be on prospecting. Unless you're what I call a gatherer. This isn't my hunter-gatherer speech, but those of you that depend on search engine optimization and people that come to you, this isn't for you, okay? This presentation are for those of you, or those of you that either manage salespeople, those of you that are out in the trenches every day, targeting certain product niches. This is direct salespeople, okay? I spend most of my energy on prospecting. When I look at the success of my businesses, whenever I've taken on a new product, it all comes down to prospecting. The more people I have prospecting, the bigger my company is. It has nothing to do with presentations. They don't come into play. But without prospecting, you could have the greatest presenter in the world. Dennis is the greatest presenter in the world that I've known in 30 years. But he will die and starve without the fuel. So spend all your time, and I'm going to talk a little bit about prospecting, and we're going to talk about presentation. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on delivering follow-up. It's really not my forte. But what I did, I segment these in my business. So I have experts that specialize in prospecting. I have specialists, I should say, like Dennis, that specialize in presenting and closing. And I have specialists who are experts at the deployment, delivery, and everything else. If those of you in the room are doing all three of these things, if you're doing your own prospecting, if you're doing your own appointment setting, if you're going out there and doing your own presentations, and if you're delivering the product, and if you're even building menus, God bless you. God bless you. And if you're successful at that, you're one in a million. There's very few people that are great prospectors. They love prospecting. I love cold calling. I just can't wait. Thank you for the $10. Thank you for the $10. And I'm the best presenter. I have all the great questions, and I can close, and I can overcome every objection. I'm just a superstar at presenting. And boy, am I good at building those menus and setting up that terminal and crawling underneath and plugging in that machine. And if you're Michael Jordan that can dribble, pass, rebound, shoot, and you're a superstar, that's great. But it's hard to build a business around superstars. Because if you own a company in here, if you have salespeople, if you're able to attract a superstar, God, that's great. The problem is, that superstar owns you. And if you don't treat them right, if they're gone, your business is in deep duty. And then oftentimes, if you don't treat them even better, they're going to end up being your competition. But anyways, that's another story. Let's talk about, so my point is assembly my selling. If you are doing all these things, my suggestion to you is don't wake up in the morning and decide I'm going to go out and make calls today, or I'm going to get on the phone and prospect. Segment it yourself. It was me starting over. First of all, I hired a college kid to come in and prospect and set appointments. But if I had to set my own appointments, I would say, okay, on Mondays, all I'm going to do is I'm going to focus and set appointments. This is getting hot in here, by the way. You check the air conditioning, windows. And focus on one thing at one time.
It's on.
Nothing's worse than going out on an appointment and say, okay, it's 1 o'clock, I gotta have lunch, and now I gotta go back, I got an hour of calls, I'm gonna start prospecting for an hour. And then you come back, I feel like going to the refrigerator and getting some stuff. So focus on one thing at one time. It's better if you can segment it. So my point is this: stop trying to find superstar salespeople who are great and all, or being a superstar. Instead, look for specialists in each area. That changed my whole business career. If you walked in my office back 20 years ago when we were selling sales training, you would see people on the phones tracking every dial with thermometers on the whiteboard. I had gauges, I measure everything. You walk into my office today, you'll see a whiteboard, just like Mark was talking about. You'll see my people, whoever's on the phone prospecting, the number of dials. They just still do the old tracking manual with a pencil and a paper. They track their dials, contacts, appointments, not interested. They know exactly how much they make every time somebody says no. I really believe in that. And if you look at my thermometers, every month we start new. Appointment set. When we set an appointment, we go up and we mark that thermometer up, and then it's completed, and then you have sales. People might look at my numbers in CoCard and say, how does he do it? Every month he does 30, 40 new accounts. Well, come to my office. Every month you see a thermometer. Okay, we set 40 appointments. We complete 25. We sell. It's what gets measured gets done. Okay? Changed my life. So, define your sales model. I figure out the target. Too many people try to be masters of everybody. I sell some, salon, I'm great at salon. Oh, liquor store, I'm great at retail, restaurants, B2B. I do everything. I'm the master of everything. Most of the people I know that try to be masters of everything, they fail at everything. So try to be a specialist in any one area. So let's talk about, we do sell over the phone now with technology. Dennis, like you mentioned, he goes through a presentation on a webinar. So we have somebody who sets an appointment, a demo. Let's call it a demo. And because we call on businesses, we don't have, they're outstate. There's a lot of businesses. If you're selling point of sale, and if you can call on these dinner clubs in the middle of Wisconsin or way up in Minnesota, every town has a dinner club. No, there's no point of sale dealer in that area. We call them, we talk to them, we set an appointment. Dennis then gets on. We have an online presentation runs through. Face to face, again, in our market, we then sell face to face. So you can do a combination of both, but I'm going to talk about real quick leads, prospecting, qualification, appointment setting, presentation, overcoming resistance and creating urgency, which is the biggest failure that most salespeople have. Delivering the greatest presentation in the world, but they just don't know how to ask for the order, get that person to take the next step, like Mark said, and gain commitment and then fulfillment. Hopefully our goal is that when you have a customers, cross-sell and eventually go back and make more sales off that customer with the long relationships and cross-selling. So let's first talk about, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because Mark talked about this, the old model versus the new model. And the model that we use is more of a teaching model. It used to be, like Mark was talking about, I knew 101 different closes back in the 80s. I could manipulate almost anybody and asking the right questions, tie down my dear old mother clothes, the Ben Franklin clothes. And then it shifted to, in the 90s, consultative selling, spin selling, as Mark said. We all then became consultants. Oh, I went from being a salesperson, I'm a consultant. I ask questions, I find out what their needs and problems are, and then I diagnose those problems, and I come up with a solution. And if you did that properly, the close is easy, it's only 5%. Well, what I found now, what works, and what Mark talked about, is more of I call it a diamond model, but it's more of an instructional, educational model, teaching model, where we create curiosity. And we spend about 10% on the front end of our presentation talking about building credibility. I'm going to show you we build credibility, as Mark said. First thing we want to do is build credibility. The second thing we want to do is we want to ask not open-ended questions, like Mark said, close-ended questions, so that we can figure out what are the obstacles there are that I'm going to have to overcome to make this sale. So we ask them questions, then we spend the majority of our time teaching them about, if we go into a point of sale situation where they have a legacy program, meaning they have PC-based, micros, Aloha, and we're coming in with let's say, mobile bikes. We're going to spend time educating on cloud. What's the difference? I want to first share with you, so why would you want to go from a PC-based program to a cloud? So, oh, okay, that's an education. But what we're really doing is demoing our product, but we're educating them on some information they don't have. If we go into a business where they're currently operating off a cash register and a credit card terminal, and our whole focus is to get them to go into this next 21st century of point-of-sale software that they're so afraid of, then we teach them about the businesses that go from a cash register over to a point of sale and what to expect and how easy it is, the ease of use. We focus more on ease of use. But the bottom line of this, when it comes down to it, who here owns timeshare? A timeshare? Come on, be honest. I am. Remember when you went, how many sat through a timeshare presentation? Okay, we went in there for the free helicopter ride or whatever, right? If you ever want to study perfection, go sit through a timeshare presentation. They are by far the greatest. The first thing they do is they qualify you up. They're not going to waste time if you don't make a certain amount of money, and if both decisions make your time better. We do the same. We don't like setting meetings up with managers. I know if you're calling larger chain restaurants, you're going to have to meet with that general manager, but we want to make sure the decision makers are there. We want to target businesses that we know we're going to make money with. But the bottom line is the key to these timeshare presentations, they overcome every possible objection. They know what your objections are. So in their presentation, their whole presentation is designed around overcoming any possible objection you're going to have. So in our presentation, we design the presentation. We know what the objections are. I'll get to those. So anyways, that's the diamond model we're going to talk about. There's number one, you got to determine your target. What is your target, as Mark said? Don't try to be the masters of all world. Like he said, you can segment your customer base and figure out our target is this business doing this much volume with this many employees. But here's the thing, make sure there's enough. I have people that target prospects say, well, how many are those in here? Well, we have about 25. 25? How are you going to make a living off of that? So make sure your target's big enough. Next, determine your source. We use Sales Genie. How many of you use Sales Genie? Anybody else in here? I mean, I'm not saying it's the greatest in the world, but the thing I like about Sales Genie is you can go in there and then I can get rid of all the franchise. I don't like to call franchises like Subways of the world. I do independently owned restaurant, single location, if that's my target. It allows me to sort of go to look at volume and that sort of thing. If you are setting appointments or if you're going to hire someone for $15 an hour and I pay them $100 for every terminal they sell, that the rep sells, one person needs about a database of about 3,000 leads. 3,000 leads to keep them busy year-round. Okay? So you need about, for one person who's going to begin that prospecting and setting appointments every day, you're going to have a target base of about 3,000. I'm going to touch base on setting appointments here real quick. There's 5 keys I want to talk about. Whenever you open a call, always respect their time. How many of us get frustrated when you get a call from a salesperson, they go right into their presentation when you're right in the middle of something? First question we ask, we introduce ourselves. Hi, this is Dan, I'm with EPS. Say, did I catch you at a real bad time? I say real bad time. Everyone has bad, never a good time. Did I catch you at a real bad time? Or do you have just a quick minute here? Assertive, control the sale. Hi Jim, this is Dan Brown, I'm with EPS. Did I catch you at a real bad time, or do you have just a quick minute here? Well, who are you and what is this about? That's what I want, right? So, respect for time. Oftentimes, I'm busy, I might know something great, I'll call you later. Number 2, first sentence has to be an attention grabber. It has to be a hot button. You can't say, we're a local point of sale provider and we have a cloud-based system. No, it has to be, we have a system that would enable you to increase your revenue 20 to 30% over the next 12 months. Would you like to know what it is? Okay, something that grabs them. We have the first of its kind POS system that actually pays for itself as it gets used, and along with increasing the number of people that walk into the restaurant. Would you like to know what that is? So that first sentence has to be, and I have some scripts I could send you guys. Email me. Get right to the point. The purpose of my call is what I do. I'm not trying to sell you anything over the phone. The purpose of my call is we set up free 10-minute demonstrations, and I'll get to 10 minutes in a second, and we spell out the guts. So get right to the purpose of it, why it is you're calling. Let them know you're not trying, we've never sold this product over the phone on the first call. Let them know that. This isn't all I'm looking for is 10 minutes of your time, and you can be your own judge. I'm not trying to sell you anything. That's key. Over the phone today. We are trying to sell something. I'm not trying to say this. 10 minutes. This might sound weird to some of you because we've never spent less than 10 minutes in a sales call in a demo. Our average demo, Dennis, how long are your demos?
90 minutes.
90? The person I have set meetings up with Dennis, okay, he says 10 minutes. Demo's only going to take 10 minutes. Dennis, how many people told you, hey Dennis, they told me it was only going to be 10 minutes?
Maybe once a month.
Out of thousands.
But I don't hear it very often.
So, there's something about 10 minutes that, now if we said 45 minutes, if we said 30 minutes, if we said 90 minutes, I'd be broke. Okay, so the first part of it, if they did say 10, well, wait, you said it's going to be 10 minutes. Oh yeah, only if you want me to go on. I came in for 10 minutes, I told you about us, if this is something you want to see, you can go on. Now I can be on my way. I can only be in, if you only want me in for 10 minutes, I can only be in there for 10 minutes, that's fine. If you ever do get in that situation. But this is in my script. Here's the other thing, any business owner, everything ends with you, and you can be your own judge. Okay, all my presentations said, all it takes, Jim, is 10 minutes of your time, and you can be your own judge. Real quick here, I want to talk about objections, but for every 200 dials, you're going to talk to 20, you get about a 10% contact ratio. You're going to finish the presentation in about half. Again, almost dead on what Mark was talking about. So meaning they won't hang up on you or whatever. If you know you have a good presentation, if you started and you were able to get to a point where you asked for a time and a date. So we have A to B. How many, about 50% of the time, you get an owner on the phone, do you get to a point where you ask for a time and a date? So the average is 2 appointments. So if you make 200 dials a day, output should be at least 2 appointments. Talk to 10 owners. Or get to the presentation on 10. Okay, objections. How many of you here are not interested? We're happy with, timing's not good, we just purchased, we can't afford, we're too small. Anybody hear those things? Yeah. We treat every objection as an opportunity to ask for a time and a date. It's great they told you this because they didn't hang up on you, they're listening. I mean, that's the first thing we want. If you're setting your own appointments or if you're training people to book appointments, all you want them to do is listen. So when they listen to you and they say, hey, we just purchased, that's a great sign. So we treat every objection with, number one is I hear what you're saying. Nothing is worse than when a salesperson calls me, I tell them, we just purchased a new copier, and I have a good prospect for you. They just keep going on with their presentation like they didn't hear. They used to teach me in sales, treat every objection like it's water off a duck's like you didn't even hear it. That's very frustrating. We always say, acknowledge, I hear what you're saying. Oh, I hear exactly what you're saying. I know what you mean. I totally understand. They just want you, I hear you. I know what you're saying. I totally understand. That's exactly why I'm calling. That's exactly why I'm calling. Most of the owners I talked to told me the same thing. But once they knew I wasn't trying to sell them anything over the phone, and once they saw the benefits, they became very interested. All I'm asking for is 10 minutes of your time, and you can be your own judge. And here's the best ending. We say this at almost every call, and you can be your own judge. This whole education thing. Worst case, Hunter, you're at least going to get some great information on some of the latest technologies in this area, if this is something you ever wanted to do in the future. Again, all we're asking for is 10 minutes of your time. Are you going to be around on Wednesday at maybe 10, or we have an opening on Thursday if that's better for you, around 3? Which one of those works better for you? Always end every sentence with an opportunity to ask for a date and time. That's the biggest mistake I see in all people who make phone calls. Some of them deliver the greatest presentation, they overcome every resistance, and they get in this volleyball match, back and forth. Whenever you answer an objection, end that answer with asking for a time and a date. Don't wait for the response to your response. So if they tell me, right now, call me back at the end of the year, we're really busy, our busy seasons, the holidays are coming up, why don't you call me back at the first year? Oh, that could be a great time, but right now it would be great for us to just come out for 10 minutes. You can find 10 minutes. We'll show you what it is, and maybe this is something you want to look at after a year. Are you going to be around Thursday at around 10 o'clock, or would Tuesday 3 in the afternoons be better for you? So I got off my answering back, because they want to say no, to think about the time and the date. So answer every objection with asking for a time and a date. That's enough on appointments. Let's go to 8 steps in the presentation. First thing we do, we have to build trust and credibility. Oftentimes I have salespeople come into my office and they want to ask me all these questions about my business. They want me to open up my lingerie door and without opening up their lingerie door. So I go in there and we tell them everything about our company. Let me first tell you a little bit about who we are. So that credibility is key. And what we do in our credibility building, I have some slides. We show a picture of our building. We show them our customers, like Mark was saying. We tell them who we work with. Look at, we work with 2,000 customers, and here are some of the companies. We show them a list, and we page through. Here are all the businesses we work with. And they're like, wow, that's pretty good. And I'm going to show you the reasons why all these businesses made a decision to work with us. So using that third-party credibility is critical. And oftentimes they'll look at the list and they'll know people on that list. You sold John? Nobody sells that guy. Then we ask some key questions. We'll go into the product and benefits, product demo, trial commitment, total investment, create urgency, and then ask for a commitment. So let's quickly, I'm going to give you some tips in here. Talk about credibility. We show a picture of building. We talk about number of sites, when we were established, where we're based, how many clients we have, and that we specialize in you, Mr. Prospect. When we talk about questions, some of the questions we ask, we do want to know how they got started, because this is kind of an open-ended question, because oftentimes they want to talk about their business. My dad started the company, and I took it over, la-di-da. We want to know what their history, their POS background. Have you ever looked into this before? If they're currently using it, I know this is how I'm macro. Give me 3 things you like most about your point of sale system, and then give me 3 things if you could do something different. What would it do? Those are really good questions when it comes to what is their knowledge on point of sale. I want to know how many employees they have. How do they do payroll? Do they do a clock as an honor system? How many managers, servers? I look at their website. If you're doing your research, you pull up their website, you know if they have online ordering or not. You might want to talk a little bit about who's doing their online ordering. You want to know how much they're paying for that. What are they doing for a loyalty or a gift card? Who your current processor is with. Those are just some of the key questions. Now, I don't say, are you the final decision maker? Again, like Mark said, we say, walk me through the process. How are decisions more typically made here? Is there anybody else involved that we would want to present to? I want to know who the other people are involved in that company. So those are some of the key questions. Let's get to the hot buttons. Before we present our product, okay, we say 5, we want to focus in on 5 major, what I call hot buttons, bullet points. Mr. Prospect, there's 5 major reasons our clients, all these clients I showed you on this list, chose EPS. Number 1, better overall management of your business. Number 2, increase revenue. Number 3, decrease expenses. Number 4, improve staff experiences. Number 5, enhance the overall guest experience. What business owner wouldn't want those 5 things?
Or even 2 of them.
Or even 1 or 2 of them. This is their attention. Okay, you gotta have hot buttons. If they're gonna listen to your demo, you gotta get the emotions going here. This is emotional stuff here. Sales is about emotion, not features. Then we show our product demo. Now, beginning on the prospect, we don't do a deep dive. Dennis doesn't even. He took screenshots of our point of sale because he does an online presentation. So it's not even the actual demo, he just takes the major screenshots. And we only spend about 15 minutes walking through. Now, if we're at a big restaurant and they have 14 terminals, they're going to have a person in charge of technology or a general manager, and they're going to want to know if they're going to want to do a deeper dive. That's not really our target market, but we have run into that. So based on the customers, they're very technically oriented. They might start asking questions. Does it do this? Can it do that? Can it do that? So it could take a little bit longer. But we like to tailor our actual demo product no longer than 15 and only focus on some of the key features and benefits. We always tie, again, Mark was saying, tie every feature down before you put a new feature. Can you see how that can help? Does that make sense to you? Dennis, I learned this from Dennis a long time ago. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Are you with me on this? Whenever you're doing a teaching and educational process, you have to keep that customer engaged, and you keep them engaged by using their name often. Now, Dan, does that make sense? Are you with me on this? Yeah. The more yeses you get, the better chance you are you're going to have it close. So those are great. Does that make sense? Are you with me on this? Can you see how this could help? Now, we always, when we're done with the product presentation, you want to see where you're at. Is this a prospect? How hot are they? Are they a 1 to 10? On a scale of 1 to 10, where are they? You've got to get them that yes momentum going. We have a simple question we ask before you show them price, before you start asking for the order. You got to find out if they're interested or not. Now, John, at this point, John, because whenever you say John, they perk up. They might be thinking about the kitchen. Then you say Dan. When I say Leah, she thinks, so I use her name often. At this point, John, from what you've seen so far, can you see how you could benefit from having a system like this? Or going to this system? If they don't say yes to that, you need to run out of there like a hot burning barn. Okay? So, but they often won't say yes. They'll say, well, it depends. How much is this? Or how much is it going to cost? That's what we want. We want to not thinking about how much will it take for me to get this. So that we always ask sort of at this point, like the presentation's over, we did our demo. From what you've seen here so far, can you see how you could benefit from having your own la-di-da-di-da? Now, when we present, I call it the investment. I never like to say the word price or cost. It's the total investment. It's an investment you get to pay back. So take those words, cost and price, out of your vocabulary. We always show them the competitors. Our first screen, we show if you were to do this with somebody else, whoever our main competitors are, this is what they charge. And I do use the word charge in these situations. This is what it would be. And we show them. Okay? We show them how much, I'll go over these screens a little bit more. Once we show that, we do more of a recurring revenue stream monthly. Our competitors are still charging $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 a terminal, $2,000 a year for service support and menu bills, that sort of thing. So we spell all that out. We show our total investment. For instance, here's an example. If they're using a traditional, I know they've looked into this, and a traditional point of sale, I might say, you could purchase it for cash for $4,000 to $8,000 per terminal. You could do a lease, we used to lease a lot, $200 to $300 per terminal. Now understand, I'm not calling on Clover people here, or Square. I'm not competing in that space, or even Harbor Touch. Okay? And then I show them all the additional expenses, and they're nodding their head. Yeah, off debit. Well, Mike, you're not in person, but you can't see him. But when I go with Mike, my outside guy, you see him going, yeah, oh yeah, I've looked into it. This is what it costs. Online ordering. It could be up to $995 to set up, $200 a month. Some online ordering companies take 15% of your sales. Waitlist management, these are some of the added features for what others don't. So anyways, we show them, I always like to create this fear, like they can't afford it. I'm not spending, 20 grand out of pocket. They're sort of like, oh my God. Okay, so then we go now. Or we have, I'll use revenue. When we sell revenue, I'll sell revenue as an example. $6.50 a day. I always break everything down to a daily investment. If they're going to use this product every day, why not talk about what it is per day? Even though we're billing them monthly and we show them what that monthly is, our vocabulary is daily for only $6.50 a day. You can have this system. How? Well, here's one way you can price it. Everyone can do this different. You know, we like to get $195. We like to get about $200 on the first terminal a month, for one terminal. And this is 98. So it's only $65 for the hardware. It's $65 for the license fee, and we have a $65 a month for service support fee. That doesn't sound unreasonable, but it's $6.50 a day. Once we show them this, now we say, however, if there's a cost, if this costs you 1 penny, you shouldn't take it. Meaning if it doesn't more than pay for itself, you shouldn't take it. So the next thing we do is we show the return on investment. You have to then go from your pricing to, okay, now what do we need? How does this more than pay for itself? We go back to all the areas, I'm not going to go into them, whether it be the loyalty program, the foot traffic, the savings, the online ordering, the increased revenue, all that stuff. You go back and you remind them, after you show that price, you have to remind them of all the ways we talked about where this is going to make them money. Where it more than pays for itself. That is the key. Now, how do you create urgency? Now that they see the price, they want to take charge. Owners, they got everything they need now. They want you to get out the door, come back there. This all looks great, Dan. I'm going to talk it over with my partner, my wife, my manager. Can you call me back? Give me a call next week. This is what separates great salespeople from very average salespeople. They have all these interested people. How'd your sales call go? Oh, my great, very interested. Told me to call. Then I talked to his manager and call him back. I'm supposed to give him a call next Thursday at 11 o'clock. Yeah, I'm so excited. I'm going to start looking at new cars. So we have a philosophy. If they won't give us a time and a date to meet, now we usually have a 2-call close, so this is our first time in, and I'm going to show you, we use credit cards. There's different ways that you can use the credit card side of this puzzle. But once we get down the end and they start trying to tell us, just call me, I don't know where it's going to be, call me back next Friday. No. The greatest salespeople in the world know how to say the word no. I can't do that. The hardest thing in sales, we all want to be yes people. Sure, yes, I can do that. I'll do that for you. Whatever you want. Customer's always right. You gotta learn how to say no. Dennis is really good at that. In a way where you don't make him mad. And you know how you don't make an owner mad? Is tell him the truth. I learned this from Dennis a long time ago. This is Mr. Saws. The reason why this is going to work. If you want me to call you back next Friday, this whole thing's going to fly right out the window. You're never going to have this. This, right? This is it. So we say no. Why don't we do this? Why don't we set up if there's not a physical, I know that if we don't have a physical time and day decide to come back, if anything dealing with the phone, follow up, it's a dead sale. In fact, Mark said he doesn't even bring business cards, but what we do, if they won't give us a time and a date, an exact time and date to present, and again, here's my business card. If you ever want me to come back, give me a call. And that's kind of interesting because that's not what they teach you in Sales 101. But anyways, enough said on that. Let's keep going with this presentation. Oh, create urgency. I've got a good one. You must reward those who make decisions now rather than later. So I'm not talking about getting too nice. It's sign up for day, we're going to throw in this one. But everyone wants to have a good deal. And you have to position a benefit, hopefully a financial benefit for them to sign up now versus putting it off. And you can be honest with them. We want to create more revenue. We need another person in your area. I want to use you as a referral. If we can get going sooner rather than later, here's what my company is willing to do for you. And if you're selling an iPad like Linda, or even now with revenue, if you're selling a portable Android tablet, if you're selling a tablet, this is so great, okay? You notice, I I do all my pricing in that the tablet's included. What we started doing is we started not including the tablet as part of the deal. Because I got tired of saying, well, how much would it be if I got my own tablet? Or, so I took the whole tablet thing out, and I built enough value at $65 for the shell and the casing and the printer and the cash drawer, and then we have $65 for the software fee. I do something different with mobile bikes. I'm talking revenue now. But mobile bikes is the same thing. Mobile bikes is an iPad solution. But when we get to the end and say, Mr. Prospect, the only thing you have to make a decision on now, do you want to supply your own iPad Pros or Android? Or you can buy them for this, you can go to Best Buy, or you can buy them for this amount, or you can buy them directly from us for this amount. Pretty much the same price, whatever Best Buy sent them for. However, the good news, Daniel, because we need somebody in your area, and I want anybody who signs up for us before the end of this month, we're going to throw the iPad in for free. Saves you. iPad Pros are $900. You got 3 of them. That's a $2,700 value if we can get you to go forward today. So you have to create an incentive. And those iPads, if you're selling an iPad or an Android, instead of pricing it in, leave it out and then throw it back in, and it's a beautiful incentive. That makes sense? I think it's beautiful. Of all the closing techniques I've seen, that's the best.
You got the deal, but I want the
So you have to create it. If you don't do that, create some incentive, some financial benefit for them to. Now, Mark talked about the next step. I'm going to end this today with, again, repeating everybody. Once you get to a point, and we use credit cards, after we show them what the daily investment is, $6.50, or with mobile bikes, it's closer to $15 a day, there's another way we can make this free for you. And, then I talk about our relationship with CoCard, we can save them money on that. So we do talk about credit card processing. If you could save them in another area, whether it be payroll, credit card processing, telephone, we look at these other products that you might want to offer to save them money to help cover the cost of your terminal. So to make it literally free for them. That's how we use credit card. I know Hunter's team, they use credit card, they'll match their rates. If you do their credit card processing, they'll come down on the setup fee or whatever. So you have to blend credit card in there somewhere, but make it a benefit. So here's the next step. Because now they're at a point, they got all the information. This is what I guarantee it separates someone who makes 0 sales to multiple sales and becomes very good at what they do. If you just remember this one thing, once you deliver your final pricing and incentive, and you create the urgency, you sign up now, we're going to give you a free kitchen printer, whatever that might be. But so John, let me just explain. We have a step-by-step process to get started. Let me explain what that is. If this is something you're at least considering, which it looks like you are, right? If they sat with you through this presentation, possibly 2 presentations, and they can't say yes, they're not at least considering this, they're going to say yes. We get a 100% yes when we ask this question. Okay? If this is something you're at least considering, which it looks like you are, right? Yes. Great. The next step is, and then we walk them through visually. We go through with a step-by-step process. John, the first step we have is we have to fill out some applications to get you approved and get it all set up. That takes me about 2 days. There's no cost or obligation into that. That only takes me about 5 minutes. Once we get that application done, I'm going to call you back. We're going to set up a site survey. My person's going to call you. We're going to do a site survey. From there, we're going to build a menu. From there, we're going to set up a time where we're going to come out. We're going to install your systems. And then we're going to do some training with your people. We walk them through. We paint the picture of what the process is, right? Once we get done with that, here's the golden goose, people. Change your life forever if you're in sales. It's called the final countdown. So again, John, since this is something you're considering, and since there's no cost or obligation with starting the application process, why don't we at least Get started with that. Does that sound fair? You have to use those words, word for word. Does that sound fair? You don't say, is that okay? You say, does that, they use the word fair. They cannot say no to that. How can that not be fair? That is the greatest closing question I've ever seen in the history of sales. In art and so business, all we want to do is get them filling out the application. And I can tell you, on one hand, over hundreds of sales, how many times we got somebody to fill out the applications and they decided not to go forward. That's the hardest step, is to get them to fill out the paperwork. So that's it, folks. And when you do ask this final question, just be quiet. Shut up. They used to say, whenever you ask a closing question, shut up! The first one who speaks owns. But anyways, any questions?
You're going to send this deck out, right?
I can send this deck out. Yeah.
I wanted to do, why don't I give them my login site so they can go through?
Yeah, you can look at our copy. If you need anything, what Dennis shows, his login site, how he walks person over, we can do that.
Why don't you guys write, if you want to get into it, write this site down. This is a link that I send to everybody, prior to me doing the demo with them. They get this link and it's a little introduction and they click on the link and then it takes them to a page where they got to put in a password. Then they got to wait for me to get on the, to get on the phone in case I send it. So let me just give it to you so you can actually click through. You can see I got 28 slides. I got all this that I do, and you can take a look at it.
And I have this presentation scripted out word for word.
Right, so it's www.epsus.com.
That's my website.
Yeah, www.epsus.com, and then / after the EPSUS, after the com, and then the word slides, SLIDES, and then at the end of the S, it's the initials M and B for mobile lights. And then
That's our mobile light presentation. But if you go to our website, epsus.com, you'll see revenue, Dinaware, and mobile lights on
but
it.
this is actually my slideshow.
But he does the same slideshow with any of the products. He's showing 100 sites on
Yeah, then when
revenue.
you enter that, it's going to take you to a screen where it's going to ask you for a password, and the password is the word demo, DEMO,
All lowercase?
all lowercase.
Okay. Well, folks, I'm going to end this presentation today with some secrets that I've learned. I used to promote speakers and train some of the best salespeople in the world. And people often ask me, what are some of the things I got out of these speakers? What are the biggest keys I got out of these speakers? This will only be a couple minutes, but I thought about that, so I thought I'd share this with you. I call it Dan's Top 3 Sales Tips. I learned from Tony Robbins, marrying and matching. You can match tonality. When we sit down with prospects, we match their physiology. If their arms are crossed, our arms are crossed. It works, people. Tonality, if they're slow talker, we talk slow. If they talk fast, we talk fast. If they're a loud talker, we talk loud. Mirror and match your prospect. If they're super relaxed, we slow down or we get super relaxed. Okay? I learned this from Brian Tracy. Everything is why don't we do this? Why don't we at least do this? John, why don't I do this? Dan, can you just call me back on Friday? Yeah, I can, but why don't we do this? Why don't we set up the time right now, and I come back on Tuesday at the same time, same place, and why don't we just do that? You get your credit card statements here? Well, yeah. Well, why don't you just go ahead and grab it? They got to come up with a reason why not. It's the greatest thing in the world. And I talked about these rejection words. Get these words out of your vocabulary. It's not the cost of price, it's a total investment. It's not a contract, it's an agreement, it's the paperwork. Don't tell them to sign anything. I just need your okay, I need your authorization, I just need your approval. Nothing's a deal, I can get you a deal. Oh, we have a really good deal this month. There's no deals, but I do have a great opportunity. We have a really good opportunity right now. Use the word opportunity.
Oh, Tom Hopkins, you said, how about we put our feelings down?
Yeah. I'm going to give you my best customer service tip. For those of you who are owners, if you get these calls, I learned this from a customer service expert. Oftentimes when it gets up to the owner, the merchant must be really upset. I want to talk to the owner. Your tech guy can show up and I got people, your machine, my batch, I missed out a batch, I got a security hold and I got payroll to pay. They're just so angry. Okay. Don't say a lot. Oh, see, this is you call them. You say, I can't believe I hate you. I hate your company. I don't. oh my God, that's terrible. I can't believe that. Oh my God, I totally get it. I'm so upset that happened to you. That's unacceptable. Well, it's not that bad. But finally, you talk to somebody that understands their frustration. I'm telling you that I have so much fun with that. It's really fun. Once I get them to cool down, then we can have a rational conversation. You can't speak rationally to somebody who's just super pissed off, right? Okay, that's my question. So we are natural frustrators. I'm going to give you something that I've used in my business career, in my management, and in my sales, dealing with failure. The learned skill, this is a learned skill, to turn every negative and every failure into a positive. I told everybody in here about this breach I had. And then when that happened, I said, something good is going to happen out of this. And I can tell you, I really believe something good did happen, and my company is way better as a result. So I look at the ability, when I had my car stolen, it was a brand new Mercedes-Benz, at a Vikings game, I'm sitting there at Valley Park, and I come out, it was gone. And I knew it was stolen. I talked to my wife, Kareem, I said, I parked it right in the exit, because we get off in the third quarter, I want to get the heck out of there, and it was gone. And the Valley Parkers are looking around, oh my God, what are we going to tell them? They expected me to be so upset, but I'm already thinking, I'm going to cash in on this insurance, I'm going to get a new car, I didn't like that color, I wanted black. You know, I'm thinking ahead. I got a meeting in the morning, I just want to get the cops here, fill out that report, I got to get out of here. And then the Valley Parker comes over, Mr. Wright, I'm really sorry, I think your car is on. I go, that's just fantastic. And look at me, that's great. You know, it's a skill, I'm telling you, it works. And I did get a new car. So I call it the joy of failure. Okay? And I learned this from Tom Hopkins. When I look at failure, and if you're in sales, it's the same. I call it rejection. The joy of failure. I never see failure as failure, but only as a learning experience. How many of us have failed, and we just, without that failure learning experience, we never would have obtained what we have today? I never see failure as failure, but only as the negative feedback I need to change course in my direction. If I'm calling on somebody and they reject me or I get close, that just caused me to go somewhere else and change course so I can get somebody to buy. I never see failure as failure, but only as a to develop my sense of humor. I'm telling you, we can all laugh at failure. It's funny. And, you know, I had one of my sales reps who said, Dan, I just had this terrible presentation. I went in there, the guy was drunk. I'm telling you, I almost fell off my chair. That was so funny. You tell me, I go, why is it so funny? I go, are you kidding me? It's laughter. It's an opportunity to develop your sense of humor.
If you're going to mirror the guy you asked for beer, right?
That's right. That's a good one. That's a good one. I never see failure as failure, but only as an opportunity to practice my techniques and perfect my performance. If you're in sales, I always tell new sales people, get out there and fail. At least you have a live person just to practice. You need to practice your presentation. We have a saying after every sales call, when we walk out of that sales call, we ask two questions. What did I do right? And if I had this call to do over again, what would I do differently next time? If you ask those two questions after every call, you're going to be much better off. So, an opportunity to practice. And I think I'm getting to the end here, but I never see failure as failure, but only as a game I must play to win. It's a game, folks. It's fun. And failure is part of that game. Nobody remembers that Babe Ruth led the league in strikeouts. They only talk about his home runs. He knew he needed to strike out. He led the league in strikeouts. But nobody talks about that. That guy's failed more than anybody in the league. So it's a game. But anyway, I hope some of this information helped you guys. I think this last 3 days, I've enjoyed it. I hope you've enjoyed it. We've had a great 3 days together. Look forward to doing this again next year. But my time's up. Thanks everyone. Have a safe trip home. Have a great